Hello there. What is going on, everybody? We are doing a Boba Fett build for Star Wars Armada today. I'm using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder, and we're going to talk about an Imperial Boba Fett build. And in the spirit of things, I'm wearing the new Boba Fett gator neck. It's available in the store. If you check the links right down there, we've got new ones. We've got the Boba Fett. We've got the new Fulcrum Ahsoka one here. Here it is. But yeah, we got a lot of new merch. Be sure to check all of it out. Father's Day is coming up soon too. Let your loved ones know if you want to support the channel. Merch, T-shirts, gator necks, Darth Vader, more of them on the way too. So really cool stuff. And they also could protect your head during cold weather. They're great for wintertime, so it's a good investment. Last you a long time. I think we're going to be wearing masks for a while, especially when conventions do start rolling around. We start gaming in person too. It doesn't tug on your ears because it can wrap around your whole head. You can adjust it however you want. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the build. So I'm going to make an Imperial fleet today. We're going to call this one... And there's a reason for this, because I'm going to add a couple of ships too that some people said they hate of certain types of ships. There's a new Armada Facebook group, and that kind of inspired this. So I actually started an Armada Facebook group just called Star Wars Armada, just plain and simple. So if you use Facebook and you're looking for a place to be able to chat, ask questions, drop pictures, speculate, get excited or whatever, there wasn't really a local, centralized, just generic Star Wars Armada Facebook group. So I'm gonna call this one Boba Fett build, and we're gonna go. But in this group, I asked what are some people's least favorite ships, and there were a lot of Imperial ships that I wanted to include in this build also to kind of make things work as well. So we're going to start off with Boba Fett. Now, Boba Fett says when you activate, choose one enemy ship or squadron at distance 1. That ship or squadron suffers 1 damage. Now, this has been around for a long time. Boba Fett hasn't changed a whole lot. It's never been like the first squadron taken, but I never thought he was bad. I like that he's got such a high damage ceiling in that you can do damage and then potentially roll, up to 3 more damage. So he can do a lot of damage, even to a ship. Now, keep in mind, his first ability is when you activate. So this is before you attack. So this means you can attack with him also. But if it's a ship, they just have to suffer a damage. Now, when a ship suffers damage, they can take damage on any hull zone. It does not have to go straight to hull. If they've got a shield on the far side, it can go there. So this is not counted as an attack. If you're doing it against another squadron, they cannot scatter. Even if it's obstructed, they just have to be at distance 1, which means you can park Boba Fett on an asteroid, make him obstructed from other attacks, and then still, boom, oh, guess what? You're still taking the damage there. You super hard to hit Sienna Ree or something like that, or Shara Bay or something like that. So he's like a nice way to kind of get around a lot of that stuff. So that's cool, but it's only 1 damage at a time, and that's that means like 3 turns of like riding on like a TIE Interceptor Ace or something like that to get them down. So it's not enough to do everything, but if somebody tries to escape with just 1 health, he can go after him and try to get near them and activate first. So that's hopefully you can tie somebody up so that they can't easily escape. But even if he does attack, he's rolling 4 blue, which is not half bad. He's speed 3, but he's got the 2 bomber dice. Now, Imperials also don't have a lot of blue and black bombers, so that's also especially cool. And he's rogue, and that's one of the things that is going to influence in this build is we're going to have a medium squadron presence in this build. You're not going to have to go with a whole lot of squadron commands. I am going to have some squadron commands, though. We're going to use Jendon to let somebody attack again, and of course his best friend Merrick Steele. So Merrick Steele also has 2 dice. He's bomber, and you can just straight up change the die to a face with a crit. Now, he doesn't have the black die on his anti-ship, but that's okay because that would be kind of broken. But yeah, he's incredible. Also, he is usually always does 2 damage to ships. Like almost always. He's really easy for him to kill aces. Also, and then when Jendon allows Merrick Steele to attack twice, it's absolutely gorgeous. And also Jendon has relay, so you can kind of activate a little bit farther away. But I want 4 squadrons here. I'm going with all aces. I am going to go, in case we face heavy aces, IG-88B is going to be the option to go with in case we face like a big TIE swarm or something like that. Now, IG-88B is not going to work super well if your opponent has X-Wings, so you're going to have to try to kill the escorts first, and that's where Merrick Steele and Boba Fett come around. You want to try and kill those X-Wings before you decide to go straight up Death Blossom on IG-88B. But either way, even if you can't, he still is a scatter ace. He's still speed 5. He's still got counter. He's still rogue. And, I mean, look at 2 black and 2 blue against squadrons. And all that being said, he's still got a black die against ships. While he's not bomber, he's still pretty cool. So he's kind of like a very general, all-source kind of IG. So this gives us 4 squadrons. 2 of them have rogue. We will need 2 squadron tokens. So I'm going to start off with the most basic, Gazanti. There you go. Gazanti can activate Jendon and Merrick Steele. Done. We don't even have to stay that close because Jendon can give us relay. So we've got a big wide bubble. We've got a Gazanti. We're good to go. Now for the rest of the ships, we're going to say some people, like 2 of the most common ships that a lot of people didn't like to fly after some talk was Victories and Raiders. So guess what the rest of this build is? All of that. So, yes. So I am going to start us off with 2 Victories. We're going to do 1 of each. And again, this is going to be, maybe just a fun way to re-look at some ships that maybe you didn't like, and some ways that I like to run some of these ships, because I actually really like the Victory Star Destroyer. I like it a lot. I like that it's versatile. I like that it can be a really good carrier, but in this case, I don't have to use it as a carrier. That's one of the things Victories were used tremendously at, was that kind of that midpoint, that still tanky but kind of well-rounded carrier before the Quasar came out, and then Quasar was like, oh, I'm a better carrier, and so like Victories kind of fell to the side, but they've been coming back. And they're doing pretty well. So I got a Vic 1 and Vic 2, and the Vic 1 was struggling for a long time, but then when we got Rebellion in the Rim, we got the amazing title, Harrow. Harrow is super good. Gives you that support team, and also when you execute a 1-speed maneuver, you can change your first movement value to 2. So if any time you're doing a 1-speed maneuver, you get to have 2 yaw, which is super. So, and of course this is built to also take engine techs. So the Vic 1 is going to have engine techs and Harrow. What else? So this really makes it a very fast ship. One of the things I love to do with this one is put Admiral Ozzel on this ship. This lets you do a 1-speed maneuver at the start of the first round. So you can be angled this way and like do that, just go well beyond your normal amount of, you can like fake people out with Ozzel, especially with a ship that normally is not maneuverable. All of a sudden it starts farther ahead than everybody else, and now can do an extra 2-speed maneuver because of the Harrow title. You don't even need Gergerod for this one, which is also really cool. So now you can you can do a nav command, and this is then Vic 1 basically wants to nav command quite a bit at the beginning, so that you can activate engine techs and get extra. That's a 1-speed maneuver. Harrow's going to let you make a 2 yaw with it, so you can basically do speed 3 maneuvers. You're starting out actually with effectively a speed 4 maneuver because Ozzel's letting you do that 2 yaw move. And if you angle it right, you can even get a little bit farther than a straight 4-speed maneuver for a lot of other ships. So by snaking and going twisty-turny, you're taking advantage of the width of your ship when you do like a 1 and then go the other way, and so on and so forth. So you can really do some cool, you can get really far. You can totally surprise your opponent with just how far Harrow with engine techs and Ozzel can get on the first turn. And that's why it works so good on the Vic 1, because you can really quickly get up on people. Engine techs can help you stay angled and stay close to even moderately fast ships. I mean, like a CR-90 is going to be able to outrun you, but most ships aren't going to be able to get away from you if you keep having navigation commands planned. So with engine techs, it's just really strong for that. But what happens when you do get close? Well, we're going to use a lot of our upgrades here because we do have black dice. We are going to put, of course, ordnance experts on here, and of course a black die upgrade. I'm going to go with assault concussion missiles. It's a little more expensive of an option, but there's other things in here that are going to synergize with assault concussion missiles. This is the one, because this is the highest damage ceiling, right? 2 extra damage. you're going to get 2 extra damage on the side. Well, it's not the highest damage ceiling because I could get 2 extra black dice on the front, which could potentially be 4 extra damage, but that's neither here nor there. This is, reliably pretty high damage ceiling because you have a pretty good chance of rolling a crit, and it's 2 extra damage. Problem is that could go to shields, and this kind of synergizes with Boba Fett because if you're able to get past your opponent's squadrons, or if they have very few or no squadrons, you put Boba Fett on the same ship that Harrow is going after. Boba Fett's like, oh, well, you're just going to put that to a shield, right? Well, think again. Maybe the shields are drained, or maybe you put that to a shield and then assault concussion missiles triggers, and then, that teamwork, you drain those shields really, really quick. We're going to have some more shield draining tech coming up in the future also. But the idea is there shouldn't be any shields left, so this way when assault concussion missiles goes off, it's doing extra damage to the ship. Same thing with Boba Fett in the later half of the game. Hopefully shields will be gone. Boba Fett will be triggering and actually doing damage to ships, which is super, super cool. Also, against flotillas, Boba Fett going to be doing damage to flotillas. They've only got 1 shield on each side, so Boba Fett can really put a hurting on some flotillas. Plus, he can attack them, and he's got bombers. So he's so cool. All right. Again, not the strongest squadron in the world, but really fun. If you want to play Armada to have some fun, bust out Boba Fett once in a while. He's not terrible, and he's fun. I just think he's super fun. All right, how many times am I going to say that he's fun? All right, so let's move on. I'm going to put one more upgrade on this ship. And speaking of flotillas, I'm going to put H9 turbo lasers on this particular ship. In the case that we get all that black dice and we got that crit and we're going to be doing all this great damage and wait a second. We didn't roll an accuracy. They're going to brace that, oh man, we got double reds, double blacks, we got 12 damage showing here. Oh, but he's going to brace it to 6. Well, let's turn one of those to an accuracy. 10 damage, but now you can't brace. That's the beauty here. That's what you want. Or if you're going up against a flotilla, you're going to need those H9s. Or, modern day, if you're worried about somebody with salvo attacking you back and you're already low, maybe later in the game, it gives you more options. So H9's more relevant now than ever before, but still, not that much more. It's always been great, and it's still great here. Gives you that dice fixing. You're going to be able to, you don't have to use it, but chances are, between 3 red dice, you'll have at least 1 accuracy, 1 hit. The only time it doesn't work is when you roll all blank red dice. Or I guess if you roll all accuracies, you wouldn't have needed it anyway. But at least you've got your accuracy that way. The point is, it's going to help you make sure you have the accuracy. So I like that. I like that a lot. That's a really solid Vic 1 right there. Super solid Vic 1. A lot of points on it, but it's gonna be fun too. It's gonna be really, really fun. I think you will have a good time playing this list. Okay, now for the Vic 2. The Vic 2 is probably going to be a little bit more familiar. This is a Vic 2 that was made good probably after Wave 6, I think, because we've got a couple of things on here. We got disposable capacitors. Let's say, hey, let's make this Vic. This is the Vic 2 that's going to be slower. It's going to fall into the same trap that victories often run into. Oh, they're slow. They're not maneuverable. I get it. Guess what? No worries. All right, the Vic 1 comes around behind, pushes you into the Vic 2. The Vic 2 is waiting there. He can stay slow because now he can throw all those blue dice at long range. Now I've got a 6-die attack at long range. Are you kidding me? Oh, 6? Oh, what did I say 6? Let's put quad battery turrets on there. Let's make it 7. Boom! And the beauty of the quad battery turrets is I can also add that die to my left or right arcs if I need to. This is for every arc. Well, every ship, ship-to-ship arc. Love quad battery turrets on a Vic 1 because I'm probably going to be going speed 1 on the Vic 1. Or maybe speed 2. It depends. I might start out speed 2, bank a nav, something like that. So that's great. That's just super great. And even if, let's say, I don't pop disposable capacitors, I can still get that blue die at long range, so I can still roll 4. Or even more if I do concentrate fire. And I do love to run concentrate fire, so ion cannons. Let's toss heavy ion emplacements on there. Heavy ion, so good. Work really, really well with a Victory 2. And this is where it all starts to come together. Now you see my tech for draining the shields before the bonus damage goes onto the ships. Heavy ion emplacements, right here, there, up there. Heavy ion emplacements, right? You pop that blue crit, you are going to do some crazy stuff. You're going to get shields drained. And then you're going to have the Vic 1 pop those assault concussions. If there's any shields left on the sides, they're gone. And then you're going to have Boba Fett activating. Hopefully he's, by that ship by then. Maybe you're probably looking at like turn 2 or 3. And, that ship, you have to take another damage. But, boy, you don't really have many shields left. I guess you'll have to take it on the rear, right? Maybe you'll take it on the rear. But no problem, because I can get Merrick Steele and Colonel Jendon to go up there and start shooting that rear, or shooting the front where all the shields are already gone, which probably makes more sense. It's just nasty. You just pile it on. You just pile it on. And even if you lose one of these pieces, the other two can still work together just as well. Heavy ions will work great even without that victory one, because Boba Fett will come in and, start being like, you got nowhere to put that damage. I drained all your shields with the heavy ions. So it's just really pretty stuff. Fun. Okay, so Vic 2 is not done yet because, hey, sometimes enemy fleets have more than one ship. So let's give this guy gunnery team. So when I do pop disposable capacitor, and I've got that 6 or potentially 7 dice out of the front arc, right, with quad battery turrets, maybe I can hit 2 ships, 7 dice each. Oh, okay. If they're both up there, if I'm going slow too, I might have you all in my front arc. 2 ships, man, 7 dice each. Gotta have it. Maybe even 8 dice on one if I got concentrate fire. Oh, wait, maybe even 9, because my commander is going to be General Ramadi. Whoops, where did I put him? I put him on the wrong ship. I don't want him on that one. I want him on this one. I want him on the Vic 2. I want Ramadi on the Vic 2 because, hey, Ramadi's new, and he's cheap. I'm really bringing him here for the cost, right? Ramadi is only 20 points. He also happens to give me a bonus red die if I'm obstructed. Also happens to give me extra stuff if, the fact that I don't lose a die when I'm making an obstructed shot, as long as it's obstructed by something physical as opposed to just an effect, which is so good, right? So good. Oh, it's really good because I don't want to be losing, like when I'm trying to trigger heavy ion emplacements, I don't want to be losing dice, right? Also, hey, I've got that Gazanti. I can fly that Gazanti in between all these ships. I can manufacture the obstruction if I need to. Again, gorgeous, perfect, so nice. So really, this Vic 2 can now get 6, all right, at long range with disposable capacitors, 7 for Ramadi, 8 for quad battery turrets, 9 dice with a concentrate fire, and 3 bonus damage if we get that blue crit and trigger heavy ion emplacements. We can do major damage with this thing, and I love it. You're gonna have to exhaust heavy ions. So if you're attacking 2 ships, maybe not so great. But you can do some crazy stuff. I'm drifting into an accent now. You're gonna do some very nice stuff. All right, we got one points for one more ship, and a lot of people also don't like the Raider. I think in this build, a Raider can also serve to kind of get in there and obstruct shots. And the Raider can also chase down some stuff. But Raider's got some love recently too, so I wanted to put a Raider in here. I'm going to go with Raider 1. Now, Raider 2 with heavy ions can also work. Raider 2 with heavy ions is awesome. A Raider 2, I don't have the points for it. So if you wanted to do a Raider 2, you could do something like, you could even put Overload Pulse on the Raider 2 before everything else goes and have him attack first, exhaust a bunch of defense tokens and then have that Harrow come in and I don't even care if I get the accuracies now, spend whatever you want, it's all going to be gone. Like that's a really fun. I think Raider 2s with Overload Pulse, really cool idea, especially with disposable capacitors and all that, but we're not doing that in this particular one because I want to get up close. I want to get real close to you and throw some more black dice, especially if I hold off until the end. Once all your shields are down, those black dice are going to do really nice things, right? So the Raider 2, let's come down here. Raider 2's already got 2 black die. It's, and it's not too hard to double arc, so you should be able to get 2 shots on somebody, 2 black dice, 2 blue, and then another black and a blue. You get 2 black against squadrons, so if you do go up against a heavy squadron build, no problem, we've got that. But there's some cool things that we're going to do here is I am going to give, well, you know what, I'm going to give it external racks because why not? That's what it really wants to do. A lot of times they don't live too much longer after getting that one awesome shot on, and if they do, that's great, but you're going to get that one beautiful shot, right? So I like external racks for this. It's super cheap too, but we can help our survivability a little bit. Now I'm going to give it Corvus. Now Corvus is a new title. Corvus is also going to really help with the bluff game. You can deploy this guy first, and then you can start deploying squadrons without kind of giving away where your fleet is going to deploy, especially helpful in cases where you've got a Victory 2 that's going to move slow. So, well, we've got that. We don't have much points left. My last upgrade is going to be Iden Versio. Now, Iden is what makes this... makes me sneeze. Iden Versio gives you some pretty cool things. First off, the main thing, and I think the biggest point, is the top half. Second half is alright, but the top half is the most important thing. When you resolve Evade, you can cancel a die at close range or distance 1. And that's when the Raider 1 wants to be in close range. She gives you a lot of extra survivability. And also she gives you good defense against squadrons. You get that bomber coming in that rolls that, hit crit on the black die. Cancel it. That saves you 2 damage a turn. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I really like that. It's basically 2 damage a turn. And not only that, you've got 2 evades. So it can be way more than 2 damage a turn. It can be 4 damage a turn, at least 1 turn. But realistically, it can be 4 damage a turn because you cancel it twice. It could be 8 damage a turn max. Really, I guess is the best possible case. But it's fantastic because you got 2 evades, and so every time you resolve your evade effect, you can cancel a die. So I love that. It gives you the Mon Mothma effect. But even better because you're not forcing a reroll. You're actually better at close range here than you are at medium range. That's the beauty of it. And then the second half of this one is that you can, if you reveal a squadron command, you can discard this card and choose an enemy ship at close range, and they gain a raid token of your choice. Now, generally, you're not going to do that bottom section, but there's always that kind of corner case. Right? Like maybe a ship is about to go off the board, but they've got nav dialed up and that's what's going to save them. Well, you know what? Like I wouldn't be surprised if he did a squadron command first turn and just kind of pocketed the token for a just in case. Granted, it's a command 1 ship, so you can always plan. You can always plan that. You can always plan a squadron. But yeah, it's because usually you're going to nav first turn, but this is the case you might want a squadron first turn just in case, because there are corner cases where that raid token could be huge, but I like that that's the secondary effect, so I like having the option to, and the threat of that can also really screw with your opponents a little bit. And this does bring us to 400 points, so we got to talk about some objectives. So here's what I'm going to look at. So for our red, we do have a single Gazanti with no upgrades, so I am going to go with Most Wanted. One of the things that's so great about Most Wanted here, again, I'm looking at getting as much dice as possible, especially squeezing a ton, an extraordinary amount of dice out of a victory. Really, it's a fantastic amount of dice. If I had more points, I could give it a title. I could even do some more nasty stuff with it, but that's okay. We got to make do with the points that we've got. But Most Wanted is great because if I'm second player, I'm gonna name 2 objective ships. So I'm gonna name my Gazanti as the objective ship, and I'm gonna make their Star Destroyer or their MC-80 or something like that, or MC-75 or something like that their objective ship. The ship I'm gonna send everything after, I'm gonna send as their objective ship. But I get to add a die of any color that's already in my attack pool when I'm attacking. That's so great because it means my Vic 1 can add a black die, which gets free rerolls because of Ordnance Experts. My Vic 2 can add a blue die if need be, if I don't get the blue crit that I already need. So that's amazing. And then it gives me a whole bunch of extra points because even if we both lose our objective ships, my opponent's only getting 23 extra points. I'm probably getting 110 or more. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty good. So Most Wanted, it's always great. Because they have to have something more expensive than the Gazanti in their list. So I'm pretty much guaranteed to come out ahead on that one. That one's never good for the opponent. I'm going to do blue next, and this one, it really comes down to, because I don't have a huge deployment advantage, so I am thinking superior positions is a good option. I do have some rogues, I've got squadrons that can get behind and get extra shots on the rear, plus the Raider can manage that too. Superior positions is a definite option to try and get around and get shots on behind, but I'm a little weak against that if I do go up against a very, very heavy squadron build that I just don't perform well against, maybe heavy escorts or something like that. So I'm going to go with Solar Corona here. Solar Corona is also particularly good, again, with considering that I have victories which have only one brace and I'm not putting like ECM on them. So these Vics can potentially be blown apart moderately easily. And so I want the defense of having, oh, let me cancel. You're going to need to roll 2 accuracies, actually, if you want to try and target my brace. So Solar Corona, it makes more sense to protect the fleet in this case. Now, for defense, I'm going to go with something I normally don't go with. And this is going to be fun. This is, again, we're talking about fun list. I am actually going to go with Fleet Ambush. I'm sorry, not Fleet Ambush. Hyperspace Assault. There you go. Hyperspace Assault. Now, I haven't run this one in a long time, but Hyperspace Assault is so cool. So before deploying fleets, me, the second player, can set aside 1 small or medium ship and up to 3 squadrons. And if I do, don't deploy them during setup. So in this case, all right, I take Boba Fett, Jendon, and Merrick Steele. I leave IG-88B on the table because no problem, that dude is super fast. But now I can drop Boba Fett, Jendon, and Merrick Steele at the start of turn 2. And I don't have to do it that early, but I probably would want to do it fairly early because I'd treat it as like last deployment. But I can drop that Vic-2, that slow Vic-2, anywhere. And of course, depending on the matchup, I might set aside the Vic-1. I could certainly do something like that. Although I mean, then I lose the Ozzel essence, so I probably wouldn't do that. But man, so cool. But yeah, ideally I'll take the Vic-2 here. And the other cool thing about this is with Ramadi, I can deploy the Vic-2 deliberately behind an obstacle so that guarantee that my shot will be obstructed. Right? So yeah, like I just feel like warping in with the Vic-2 and pulling like that Radis type maneuver here would be super fun. I'd love to be able to do that, and I think it'd be super cool now. So again, yeah, those are the objectives. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I think it's a super cool fleet. I think it'd be a super fun way to use some stuff that maybe you don't use all that much. I mean, I don't think a whole lot of people are running Boba Fett all the time. I think people are less likely to run IG-88B now since he was kind of nerfed to not, or at least clarified that, he can't ignore escort. Merrick Steele and Jendon are popular. People always run them. They're good. You could, if you want to fringe it out a little bit more, you could drop those 2 and just put some more rogues in. You could put all 2 more fire sprays in there, and you have some more points if you want to upgrade the Raider to Raider 2 and do something else there. It's a lot of little room for improvement, or places you can change a few things. Add a title on the Vic-2 if you want. Like if I could see maybe going with the Dominator. Once you get in close, you could add even more dice. Possibly. Man, it gets really. Or Warlord and H9s are always nice when you do that anti-squadron. It's guaranteed to all be hits. So there's some interesting combos. Yeah, but I like the Vix, and not as big of a fan of the Raider, but they did get some love lately, and they can also move in there to help obstruct the attacks too. So yeah, the Raider can be useful for a lot of different reasons there. Plus, you get that whole Corvus ability where you get to deploy it, and then everything is all done. Now I can redeploy. So you're getting a couple of things in here that are going to give you some deployment tricks also. That and Hyperspace Assault too. Really cool. Really cool. All right, well, that's going to do it for the video. Be sure to, if you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment. That giveaway is still going on for the $25 gift card. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment. Yeah, I think that's about it. Make sure you check out the links for some of the new merch too. It's there and helps support the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons on Patreon. You guys are absolutely amazing and continue to make this whole channel possible. Thank you so much, and as always, have a great day.